Cat and a sneaky Franny here, 'cause it's another Monday, or it will be when this goes up. So you know what that means. Grim Tales. So let's get comfy. Got a little mermaid necklace that, oh, hopefully it's just my computer screen, but it's Ariel, and she's got a little bit of a sparkle on her 4 points there. Because you know what? We gotta have a little fun with it. Yeah. And then Franny says it's nap time because she's had her breakfast. So we're gonna get the little cutie in the frame for everyone. Oh, I should have done that. Now you can see the belly, but that's okay. And I had to get some water because this is gonna be for a Grimtail, a long one. I already skimmed ahead just to see how much there was to this story. Because tale number 59 is Freddy and Katy. And it's about 5 pages of, that kind of print. So, settle in or grab your headphones and your broom or whatever, and I'll tell you a story while you do the, adulting thing that nobody really wants to do, but gotta keep it clean for the puppies to mess up. Oh, big girl. Your little gel stuck on your paw. Mama. That couldn't have been tasty. You had your gel stuck. Silly girl. So, once there was a man named Freddy and a woman named Katy who got married and began living together in wedlock. One day, Freddy said, I'm going to the field, Katy. When I return, I want some roast meat on the table to take care of my hunger and a cool drink for my thirst. Not starting off too well. Just run along, Freddy, Katy answered. Just go. I'll have everything ready the way you want it. Might be my temper, but I'm thinking with the frying pan. When noontime drew near, she got a sausage from the chimney, put it in a frying pan, added butter, and set it on fire. Ooh, butter and fire. I like both of those. The sausage began to fry and sizzle, and while Katy was staying there and holding the handle of the pan, she began thinking, and it occurred to her, you could go down into the cellar and draw the beer before the sausage is done. She fixed the pan so it would not tip, took a tankard, and went down to the cellar, where she began to draw the beer. As the beer was flowing into the tankard, and Katy was gazing at it, she suddenly recalled, hey, the dog's upstairs, and since he's not tied up, he could get the sausage in the pan. Oh, it's a lucky thing I thought of that. That would be a you move. So everything has to be at the very back of the oven. Because she loves rubbing it in little man's face that she can reach. Yeah. She ran up the cellar stairs in a jiffy, but her Spitz had already grabbed the sausage with his jaws and was dragging it along the ground. Still, Katy was quick to act. She ran after him and chased him a long way over the field. The dog was faster and clasped the sausage tightly as he dashed off with it beyond her reach. Is anything faster than an animal or a toddler that has something that they're not supposed to have? Like, I don't care that they have like little itty bitty legs. Like, laws of physics do not apply. You will not catch up. Huh. What's gone is gone, said Katy, who turned back home. Since she was tired from running, she walked very slowly and cooled herself off. In the meantime, the beer continued to flow from the keg, for Katy had forgotten to shut the tap. When the tankard became full and there was no more room in it, the beer flowed over onto the cellar floor until the whole keg was empty. As soon as Katy reached the top of the stairs, she saw the accident and cried out, Heavens! How are you going to keep Freddy from noticing it? Yeah, that is kind of a huge mess. That's a lot of flippin' beer. What the heck? You might have a drinking problem if you drink it by the keg. By yourself. She thought for a while until she finally remembered a sack with a fine wheat flour that was still up in the loft. It had been bought at the last fair, and she thought it would be a good idea to fetch it and sprinkle it over the beer. Beer pretzels? I mean, I can always taste it, but some folks say they can't. It's just good. Yes, she said. A stitch in time saves 9. She climbed up the loft, brought down the sack, and threw it right on the tankard full of beer, causing it to topple. Now even Freddy's drink swam about in the cellar. That's quite all right, said Katy. They all belong in the same boat together. Then she scattered the flour all over the cellar. When she finished, she was tremendously pleased with their work. Said, "How clean and neat everything looks here." A floating keg and, beer-soaked flour. They must live in a really dirty place. At noon, Freddie came home and said, "Well, wife, what have you made for me?" "Oh, Freddie," she answered, "I wanted to fry a sausage for you, but while I was drawing the beer in the cellar, the dog came and made off with the pan. Then, while I was chasing the dog, the beer ran over, and as I went to drop the beer with the wheat flour, I knocked over the tankard. But don't get upset, the cellar is all dry again." I thought she was trying to hide it with the flour. At least she's honest. "Katy, Katy," he said, "you shouldn't have done that. Just think. You let the sausage be carried off, you let the beer run out of the keg, and on top of it, you squandered our fine flour." Yeah, she might be an idiot. "Well, Freddie, I didn't know that. You should have told me." Is this like, the 50s when women weren't allowed to have a brain? Might be. If that's the way your wife is, Freddie thought, then you'd better take precautions. Now, Freddie had saved up a nice sum in tailors that he finally changed into gold. And he went to Katy and said, "Look, these here are yellow chips, and I'm going to put them into a pot and bury them in the stable under the cow's manger. Make sure you keep away from them, or I'll teach you a lesson." She might need to be taught one, but I don't think he's going to do it the right way. "Don't worry, Freddie," she said. "I promise not to touch them." Soon after, while Freddie was away, some peddlers came to the village selling clay pots and bowls. "You reversing it, little man." "Is your sister in your spot?" Some peddlers came to the village selling clay pots and bowls, and they asked the young woman whether she wanted to trade with them. "Oh, you're so kind. I don't have any money and can't buy anything. But if you can use yellow chips, I'll make a trade with you." "Yellow chips? Why not? But we'd like to have a look first." Something tells me she's gonna be stupid again. Well, well, just go to the barn and dig under the cow's manger and you'll find the yellow chips. I'm not allowed to go there." The scoundrels went there, dug up the ground, and found pure gold. Then they put it into their pack and ran off, leaving the pots and bowls behind in the house. Well, they're slightly more honest than expected. At least, they left her something in exchange. I thought they were going to keep both. Katy thought she should make use of her new kitchenware, but since there was already so much of it in the kitchen, she knocked the bottoms out of all the new pots and hung them as ornaments on the fence poles all around the house. When Freddy came home and saw the new ornaments, he asked, "Katy, what have you done?" Yeah, pots and pans aren't exactly like ornaments. What the heck? "Well, Freddy, I bought them with the yellow chips that were buried under the cow's manger. I didn't go near them myself. I made the peddlers dig them up." "Oh, wife, what have you done? Those weren't yellow chips. They were pure gold. Our entire fortune. You shouldn't have done that." "Well, Freddy," she said, "I didn't know that. You should have told me before." This is what you get when you marry idiots so that you can control them. You gotta deal with their messes. Because they can't add 2 plus 2 with a calculator. Katy stood there for a while and tried to think of something. Finally, she said, "Listen, Freddy, we can get the gold back. Let's run after the thieves." "All right," said Freddy, "let's try it. But take some butter and cheese so that we have something to eat along the way." "Yes, Freddy, I'll take some along." They set out on foot, and since Freddy was faster, Katy trailed after him. It's to my advantage, she thought. If we turn back, then I'll have a head start. Now she came to a hill where there were deep wagon ruts on both sides of the road. "Just look," said Katy. "They've trampled and torn apart the poor earth so it's all beaten up. It will never get well again as long as it lives." Has she been eating some special mushrooms? But she at least had one intelligent thought. She realized, distances, so she's selectively stupid. Out of the kindness of her heart, she took out the butter and smeared the ruts on the right and left so they would not be hurt so much by the wheels. While she was performing this charitable work and was bending over, a cheese rolled out of her pocket and down the hill. I've already climbed up the hill once, said Katy. I'm not going down again. Let some other cheese run down and fetch it back. Does she think it's sentient? It's gonna grow legs and go get it and cannibalize its brethren. Okay. And this is why I don't go by Katy. So she took another cheese and rolled it down the hill. However, this cheese did not come back either, so she sent a third one after it and thought, perhaps they don't like to walk alone and are waiting for company. When all three of them failed to return, she said, I'm not sure what all this means, but it's possible that the third one didn't find the way and has gone astray. I'll just send a fourth and call them all back. The fourth did not do the job any better than the third. Then Kitty became so annoyed that she threw the fifth and the sixth down the hill, too, and they were the last she had. For a while, she stood and waited for them to come back. But when they did not return, she said, Oh, you're just the right ones to send in search of death because you really dragged your feet. Do you think I'm going to wait for you any longer? I'm moving on, and you can catch up with me. You've got younger legs than mine. Is that cheese? Or is she just, severely brain damaged? Don't, be several generations inbred, kids. This is what happens. Katy went on and found Freddy, who had stopped to wait for her because he wanted something to eat. Now let's have some of the food you brought along. She handed him the dry bread. Where's the butter and cheese? Her husband asked. Oh, Freddy, I smeared the ruts with butter, and the cheese will soon be here. One got away from me, so I sent the others after it. You shouldn't have done that, Katy. Just think. You smeared the butter on the road, and you let the cheese roll down the hill. Well, Freddy, you should have told me. They ate the dry bread together, and Freddy said, Katy, did you lock up the house before you left? No, Freddy, you should have told me. Well, then go home and lock it up before we continue on our way. Also, bring something else to eat with you. I'll wait for you here. That wasn't clear enough instructions for somebody that stupid. This ain't gonna go well. As Katy began walking back, she began thinking, well, that's the lie. Freddy obviously wants something else to eat. Since he doesn't like butter and cheese, I'll bring him some dried pears in a handkerchief and a jug full of vinegar to drink. Okay, not only is she stupid, she's got broken, taste buds. When she was about to leave the house again, she bolted the upper half of the door and took the lower half off the hinges. Then she carried it on her back because she thought the house would be safer if she kept the door with her. Then she took her time walking back since she thought to herself, Freddy will have all the more time to rest himself. Once she reached her husband again, Kitty said, There, Freddy, now you have the house door, and you'll be able to keep the house safe yourself. Oh, God, he said, what a clever wife I've got. She takes off the lower half of the door so that anyone can walk in, and she bolts the upper half. Now it's too late to go home again, but since you brought the door, you'll carry it the rest of the way yourself. I don't mind carrying the door, Freddy. The dried pears and the jug of vinegar are too heavy for me. I'll hang them on the door and let the door carry them. Yeah. Now they went to the forest to look for the thieves, but they did not find them. When it finally became dark, they climbed up into the tree to spend the night. No sooner were they sitting up high than some men came along who tend to carry off things that do not want to be carried away, and who tend to find things before they are lost. They camped out right beneath the tree in which Freddy and Katy were sitting. They made a fire and began to divide their loot. Freddy climbed down the other side of the tree and gathered some stones, after which he climbed back. He wanted to throw the stones at the thieves to kill them. However, he missed, and the thieves cried out, Soon it will be morning, and the wind's knocking down the pine cones. Katy was still carrying the door on her back, and since it was so heavy and weighing her down, she thought the dried pears were to blame and said, Freddy, I've got to throw the dried pears down. No, Katy, not now. That could give us away. Oh, Freddy, I've got to. They're too heavy for me. Well, then, do it for all I care. She rolled the pears down between the branches, and the thief said, Here come some bird droppings. What the heck kind of birds do they have? The size of a freaking pear, and it rolls down the tree. Shortly afterwards, since the door was still very heavy on her back, Kay said, Oh, Freddy, I've got to pour out the vinegar. No, Katy, you mustn't do that. It could give us away. Oh, Freddy, I've got to. It's too heavy for me. Well, then do it for all I care. So she poured out the vinegar and it spluttered all over the thieves. The dew's already falling, the men said to one another. Is everyone but Freddy an idiot? I'm pretty sure dew and vinegar do not smell the same. Anyways, what the heck is in that, natural water? Y'all might have really messed up the local ecosystem. Finally, Katy thought, could it be the door that's been weighing me down? Again, she ain't been thinking. Said, Freddy, I've got to throw the door down. No, Katy, that could give us away. Oh, Freddy, I've got to. It's too heavy for me. Yeah. No, Katy, hold on to it tight. Oh, Freddy, I'm gonna let it drop. She tells him he has to tell her every little thing, but then don't listen when he tells her the comments. I'd throw her out of the tree next. Like, be done with it. Maybe she'll accidentally, land on one of their heads. All right, Freddy said, let it drop for all I care. Then the door fell with a great crash, and the thieves below cried out, the devil's coming down the tree. No, just the idiot up top. They cleared out and left everything behind. Early the next morning, when Freddy and Katy came down the tree, they found all their gold again and carried it home. When they were home once more, Freddy said, Katy, you've got to be industrious and work hard now. Yes, Freddy, of course I will. I'll go into the field and cut down the fruit. I don't know what she's going to do, but it's going to be something stupid. When Katy went to the field, she said to herself, should I eat before I cut, or should I sleep before I cut? I think I'll eat. So Katy ate and became tired from eating. When she started to cut some fruit, she began daydreaming and cut all her clothes to pieces, her apron, her dress, and her blouse. Yeah, I've got no words for this idiot. Upon snapping out of her dream, she stood there half naked and said to herself, is that me, or is it someone else? Oh, that's not me. Meanwhile, it was already night, and Katy ran into the village and knocked on her husband's window. Freddy, she called out. What is it? I'd like to know if Katy's inside. Yes, yes, answered Freddy. She's probably lying down asleep. Good. Then I'm clearly at home already. And she ran off. Wow. And I thought it was bad wondering where, my phone is when I'm holding it, or, my glasses, because they're, on my head. She doesn't even know if she's her. Outside the village, Katy came across some thieves who were planning a theft. She went up to them and said, I want to help you steal. The thieves thought she knew her way around the region and agreed to let her join. Then Katy went in front of the houses and called out, Folks, do you have anything you want stolen? This won't do, thought the thieves, and they wished they could get rid of Katy. Somebody needs to. There's a turnip patch owned by the parson outside the village, they said to her. We want you to go there and pull up some of the turnips for us. Katy went to the patch and began to pull up some turnips, but she was so lazy that she remained in a crouched position. Soon a man came by, stopped, and watched her, and thought the devil was tearing up all the turnips in the patch. So he ran to the parson in the village and said, Parson, the devil's in your turnip patch, and he's tearing up all your turnips. Oh, God, exclaimed the parson, I've got a lame foot and can't run out to banish him. I'll carry you on my back, said the man, and he carried him out to the field. When they got to the turnip patch, Katy straightened herself up. Oh, it's really the devil, the parson cried, and they both rushed off. Indeed, since his fright was so great, the parson was able to run faster with his lame foot than the man who had carried him with his two sound legs. So not only is she, dumb as a box of rocks, apparently, she's not even, getting by on her looks. They literally confuse her for, a demon. So yeah, that was that story. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.